when you find now even the social structures around the places in Busia, the area has become like a rural slum with so many people from outside the country running the shows. So everything is upside down, and it is sad for this country. When I went to the Kakamega one, they could not allow people in, but I was able to go in because I had to thump my chest a bit and tell them I'm a senator of the republic. You can't lock me out. So when I showed my identity, the fellows allowed me in. There's a big Rosterman mine, which the Mzungus used to mine and which the Chinese have now taken over. And you can just see that they're taking a lot of gold out. In the 50s, it's on record that Kakamega County loaned money to the British Crown, the county government of Kakamega, and it was from the gold. Taxes they were getting from the gold. So if that could happen in the 50s, what is it that is in the ground that these Chinese are picking up now that we don't know? When you look at the county government, they will know. Ask the administrator there, they tell you that they can't do anything because the orders seem to come from outside. You go to the national government structures, everybody's like, we can't do anything about it because these people are coming with the orders from Nairobi. So there's need for the people of this country to really rise up and say, enough is enough. And if we can't utilize what is in the ground profitably, let it stay there until we can do that. Because the challenge of leadership is just one. The challenge of leadership is to convert resources into wealth. Is the human resource, let it be able to be converted into wealth. If it's the natural resource, let it be able to be converted into wealth so that the people can thrive. The people can have material progress. There's no other point in leadership. So I think the people need to rise up on this issue and they demand that the minerals be exploited in a manner that benefits the country. The environmental damage has to be checked. Yes. The threats to the disease and whatever has to be checked, and the value of the gold has to be known.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to speak to.
Okay, just hold on. Senator, you will tell us about our medical system. There is this shift that is being pushed on us, despite us telling them that it is not worth it. There is that issue you've raised of the cabinet. You said you want to come up with a shadow cabinet. You will tell us what went into your head for you to consider coming up with a shadow cabinet. And then you will, of course, talk to us about that issue of foreign mercenaries coming to hijack our healthcare system for their own benefit. I hope I'm clear. And
yes, I wanted to. This is Senator Onyonka. I wanted to say something. I don't know whether it's possible.
Yeah, go on.
I first of all want to really thank Sen.Omtatah. He was the lone voice of reason and intellect that many of us kinda dismissed, and as he kept on raising these issues. If you look at the story about our minerals, if you look at Kenya as a country, you will be shocked. What happened to me about 3 weeks ago is that a person, and by the way, many people keep asking, where do you get this information, even the story about the airport and all that? There are some wonderful people, just like Mr. Amenya, the guy who first raised the red flag. The truth is, somebody sent me a message and it was an executive order. And it was an executive summary. That executive summary is presumably, and I say this with a lot of courtesy because when I got that report, I was shocked that we have rare minerals at the coastal area These rare minerals that the Americans are interested in them, and the amount of money they are willing to pay as I speak to you today from that executive summary is about 100 billion US dollars. That money should be able to pay all our debts. That money should be able to organize our country if we wanted to. The problem you have is that there are vested interests. There are people who have run our mineral sector like it was the njugus which they eat every morning. And I want to thank Omtatah, and there are a few people who've been giving us the information and intel. And I want to mention to this team here, I have listened to what you've been doing for the last most probably 2 months. I really, really congratulate all of you. I want to tell you this, it's not easy when some of us get on TV and we say what we say. I wish many of you knew what we go through. Some of the journalists have been really, really wonderful. I can tell you this. That's why I don't want us to condemn all journalists. Some of them are the ones who give us some of the intel. Some of them are the ones who tell us where things are going wrong. My honest observation is that this team stay together, be strong, don't be challenged. This country is yours. Kenya has a capacity, yes, of becoming like Singapore. But the nonsense that goes on about stealing of public funds, the issue of where everybody who is in power and in authority thinks every person in Kenya is an idiot, that has to end. People want service, people want dignity, people want fairness. That's why I support you guys. I support you people 1000%. I will not change my thinking and my beliefs. The other thing I wanted to suggest to this team is this. You've lost your troops. Please, every time you have this show, dedicate 1 hour for those young men and women who have fallen. We may not be able to pay for their lives, but those are people who believed in the real ideals of what a good country is, where there's democracy, where we fight about bigger things. The small things are available, clean water, good roads, where everybody values their responsibility in this republic. Right now, our country is broken down. I want to say that Omtatah, Senator Olekina, my brother Sifuna, Cherargei, I will tell you, there are people in UDA. What you people may not realize, some of the people in UDA are the ones who've been telling us, please shout. Shout, because everything is being broken down so that people can steal your resources.
Why can they shout themselves?
They are uncomfortable. It's not easy to do what you people are doing and what I'm doing. It's not easy what Salasia has been saying. It's not easy. Gentlemen and ladies.
But Mheshimiwa, if it is not easy, why not leave? Why not say this is too much? Enough is enough. I am out. Why can't you say that?
The reality is that I will talk for myself. That is why I decided to take the option of talking about these things. The others can decide what to do with their political lives. I was brought up by a father who told me, sometimes you speak the truth. Sometimes you must be able to carry the most vulnerable. Don't you ever think that for me being a minister at the age of 27, when I had come back with a PhD and I lived in Lavington, and you think that is the ideal. The ideal is when you go down to the grassroots and look at the people who enabled me to go to school to get this PhD so that these people can be picked up to be like me and you. That is where I am. That's the war. That's the fight.
Okay. We hear you. We nani unasikizana na hiyo story kweli? Polo. Hiyo story inakufurahisha kweli?
Nasikia kani excuser. I'm not really buying it, but okay, he has said it. That's what he has said. I'll try to accommodate that.
Okay, asante. Kuna hapa mtu anaitwa.
I want to
please,
say,
yes.
Americ, can I say one last thing?
Please
Not
say,
one last thing, but I'll be listening and I'll be until we finish the show. I want to say that the reality of any movement, the reality of any liberation struggle, I hope many of your members will read a book by a guy called Walter Rodney. There was a book done by Shamara Machel before he died. In the movement, you are going to be disappointed and you're going to feel betrayed. The reality is, those who remain strong and keep believing in what they are fighting for are the ones who history will recognize. Many of us will not be recognized by history. We may be rich, we may have everything, we may have good homes, but if we are able to let our children starve, have our women who are giving birth die as if there's nothing that matters, get our children to go to school, parents selling their land and raising money through Harambe, which then becomes a corrupt mechanism, and these children, once they're finishing from school, you then get out here and find there's nothing. States are not run like that. A state must be able to carry its people, all sectors. Make sure that we are able to think through what are we going to do to take care of the Gen Z. Don't tell me that you want young men to go to Germany and Britain, and that is the only excuse you've got, and those are the jobs you're creating. I lived in America.
Lakini we mheshimiwa, just hold on mheshimiwa.
Yes.
Unajua we unaongea poa, unaongea vizuri, nini, lakini nyinyi mkiingia huko kwa parliament, amuongei hizi vitu. Kwa mfano, right now counties are very corrupt.
Yes.
Kuna county ingine huko Western inaitwa Bungoma. Ilinunua flowers za 149 million. Mimi sijasikia senator yote akiongelea. Huko Nakuru nasikia kuna wizi. In fact, if you are from Nakuru, I'm told in the next 5 years mtashindwa pahali pa kuishi. Mbona nyinyi senators amuongelea hii story? Mnakuja kuongelea kwa space, unaongea vizuri, lakini mkiingia kwa bunge amuongei. You are not talking when you are in the chambers.
Can I respond?
Yeah, go on.
Please go and listen to my clip when I was talking about what happened in Bungoma. It's on classical radio. I talked about it. I'm the one who raised the issue. I'm the one who raised the issue of the airport. I am the one who has been raising alone, singularly, and my brother Sen.Omtatah and the other teams who realized we're going the wrong way. Go and look at the clips I have spoken in the last 5 years. I started talking about corruption. I have talked about CDF, how it has done some good work, but most of the time it is abused and misused. I'm the one who has talked about why are we giving 70 billion to the government apparatchiks, where they share the money and pretend like they are giving this money to poor people. You go. I have been talking about these issues, and I don't give myself credit. It is simply because I am simply telling it the way it is. And I've said, I know the risks, I know the challenges. By the way, I don't have to run for any political office after this. I am where I never thought I would be. And that is, I'll continue saying the truth. I'll have people who are going to be insulting, those who will doubt whether I believe in it. I'll tell you this, nobody believed in Martin Luther King talking about the emancipation of the Black community in America until he made his speech in Washington, D.C.
So in your capacity, what are you doing to advance the demands of the Gen Z protest? Wewe in your capacity unafanya nini?
Thank you. My job is as a senator. I cannot carry a gun and go and kill anybody who has stolen public money. I am willing to engage with Sifuna, engage with my brother Omtatah, engage with all the people who are Selassie, so that we can use the law that we have to start changing. We can go to the Senate and bring in a petition where we're demanding that the government provides free education from primary school to secondary school up to university. Don't ask me why I didn't do it before. Most probably I didn't think about it. I am now thinking about it. We are going to get the ESCC. We are going to challenge the president if he's willing to listen, or anybody who works with him. We must clean out the way we are fighting corruption without being vindictive, without attacking our political enemies. If somebody has broken the law, let him face the law and go through the process. We are going to demand that county governments are given their money and they're given their resources, but they must stop the stealing that is going on, because they're disenfranchising our poor people. Kids are running away from the county governments, and yet the amounts of money that we're giving the county governments are mind-boggling, and the corruption engaged is crazy. So some of us are trying our best. I really hope that you guys will be encouraging us and not criticizing how we've messed it before. The truth is, some of us never saw it before.
The issue of ID cards. Right now, ID cards, I'm told they're supposed to expire. Of course, that could be beyond your jurisdiction as a senator. Then there's a petition you raised. You asked some questions from the Senate. You had written a petition about the JKI HIST. Wamekuambia nini na inatusaidia aje? Because unajua kitu ya airport ni kitu serious. Hatutaki tuambie kesho tuambiwe airport imeshachukuliwa.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to say that, first of all, I thank whoever that gave me that information. And it was a young man, Amenya. I think you know him. He lives in France. I mention his name because it's already in public. He sent me the message. It was one of the most difficult things I had to do, because I looked, I checked, I saw who handles this, and some of those people are my friends. I decided to raise it because I knew that the implication of us allowing all our airports to be controlled by foreigners, first of all, it will be against the law. Number two, the committee where I sat, where I had a friend who then told me what they had discussed is that we will not, under IPPGs, allow our airports or even the Port of Mombasa to be given out. So when I saw this information and I looked at the evidence provided, I said, I can take the risk and I can fall with it if it is not true. Fortunately, everything I said is true. Fortunately, I'm waiting for the Committee of Kenya Airports Authority to come to the Senate within the next 1 week. I want them to come and give us the agreements they have signed with whoever that they have signed with. And I can tell you, even if you ask Honorable Omtatah, we will fight like hell to make sure that the airports are not sold, the Port of Mombasa is not sold. And the issue you're talking about, minerals, let me say something here so that Kenyans are aware. All your oil in Turkana County, your big leadership and the big boys in the system went and bought blocks where the oil is. That's why you can't export the oil unless that system is dismantled. There's nothing we can do. So this is the time for us to start dismantling such nonsense where 10, 15 individuals go and allocate themselves 500,000 acres of land where the oil is, and they're trying to make money out of it. I thank the people of Turkana, especially even when some of the politicians are not very good. Some of the Turkana leadership is the one which said, you cannot mine our oil, and yet you don't give us what the Constitution talks about. These are the issues that are outstanding in our country, and I want you guys to be the last line of defense. Don't give up, because this country has everything to be shared equitably, fairly, and everybody will be happy. And we leave that for our children, your children, and other grandchildren.
Wakenya, wananchi, this is your space. Ask for that mic. We really need to put these politicians on the edge. This is our space. Ebu itisheni mic, muulize maswali. We want answers to whatever is happening to this country because it's very serious. Lewis, do you think we should recall these politicians? Yes, Polo.
I want to ask Salasia nataka tu kumuuliza swali moja. Salasia, unajua hivi vitu inafanyika Kakamega ama ujui ama mnajifanya tu mzioni because you are going to say it's the big boys who are playing this game so you can't do anything. Are you aware or you are not aware? Please answer that as we continue.
Pastor